Have you, Aquarius, ever messed with a Scorpio? We're going to finish our water signs. Last week we did Cancer. This week we're doing Scorpio. So we're going to talk about that. But first, let me do the introduction. I am QueenAusetHeru. And thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please hit that, what is that button? It's another button. The like button. Please hit the like button as well. And please leave us a positive comment in the comment section. If you would like to get a reading done, I am a card shark. Please hit me up. My social media and all of my email information is underneath this video. You can hit me in any of those. There's also ArchAngel Michael and Ask an Aquarius merchandise underneath this video. If you want to join us on Patreon, please do. I've been doing a new series. I've been doing vlogs on Patreon. So I've done 2 vlogs so far. I'm getting ready to upload the second one now. So I'm really excited about that. Also, if you'd like to send me a gift from my Amazon wish list, this beautiful crown came from my Amazon wish list, but the person did not leave me a note. Please let me know who sent this beautiful crown. Let me see. I think that's everything. So let's get started. So here's today's question. Someone said in the comment section, Queen, what is the attraction between Scorpio and Aquarius? I seem to always attract Scorpios, but it never works out. Well, first of all, let me tell y'all something. My daughter is a Scorpio. I live with a Scorpio, so I can't talk too loud. She might hear me. No, I'm just kidding. But I do live with a Scorpio. And when I was sick in February, I had a stomach infection, and it was a Scorpio who saved my life. My doctor is a Scorpio. And he definitely saved me from knocking on heaven's door. And only a couple hours, too. He was on point. Beautiful man. But my point of the matter is that I do have a lot of love for Scorpios. So when you ask what is the attraction between Scorpio and Aquarius, this is the thing, right? Scorpio and Aquarius are both very fun signs. They're also the 2 signs that are said to be the most intelligent on the planet. I thought that was very interesting. Statistically speaking, they're opposites though. There's more Scorpios born than Aquarius. Scorpios are number 1. There are more Scorpios born than any other zodiac sign because a lot of us got pregnant, like me, on Valentine's Day, right? And Aquarius is a short month, right? So there's least amount of Aquarius born. So we have that polarization going on too. So when Aquarius and Scorpios are attracted, it's because they find each other to be fun, you know? That's the thing. They like to party together, they like to have a good time, they like to travel together. Scorpios are great for that. Scorpios, you know, are wonderful when you want to dance and drink and, you know, do the thing, you know? Scorpios are great for that. The problem is that Scorpios are not always the most productive, okay? And this isn't all of them, obviously, because some of them are probably the most productive people in the world. But they have the same kind of issue that Aquarius does when we lack motivation. So some of the times Aquarius and Scorpio get into a tangle, a back and forth, a power struggle, because the Aquarius wants the Scorpio to be more independent and more motivated. And the Scorpio usually wants the Aquarius to be more in their heart center and feel more and be more compassionate. So these two can butt heads in those areas. So when the fun stops and the liquor stops pouring, okay, now what? It's wonderful when the vodka's pouring down your throat, but then the next day when the sun comes up and you're looking at your Scorpio, it's like, okay. I thought it was really interesting too, because a Scorpio told me in the comment section that Aquarius are more dangerous than Scorpio, right? So he made it seem like, this person made it seem like, we were like, the villains of the zodiac. So I was like, is Aquarius really more dangerous than Scorpio? So I asked you guys. Now I don't know this from a zodiac standpoint. From a zodiac standpoint, I would say we're about equal, to be honest with you, because a messed up Aquarius and a messed up Scorpio, they're both very sinister, very calculating. They will get you. Talk about revenge, so I've always read about Scorpios and revenge, but people don't know Aquarius are big on revenge, but we're sneaky with our revenge. Aquarius will get revenge and you will not know the Aquarius did it. That's our thing. We want to get you and we want to see you got, but we don't always want you to know that we were the ones that got you. Okay. So I think they both, like I said, can be a little dangerous in that way. So when I asked you guys, 93 of you voted in the comment section. Now remember, if I do polls or have questions or things like that, I always drop them here in the community section. That's what it's called. So the little tab that's labeled community, I always drop stuff in there. Now, when I dropped this a couple days ago, 93 of you voted and 56% said that Aquarius is more dangerous and 44% for Scorpio. So as you can see, Aquarius people do think is more dangerous, but not by a high percentage. I was expecting like 90 something percent, but it's not really by a high percentage. So you can see here that people pretty much think we're both pretty dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to say that's a good thing. I think people should be aware that there are people out there, like I said, in that dark negative energy, not everybody. And you're right. They can be dangerous. I agree with that 100%. So again, I think that element of danger, that mystery, that darkness is something else that I think attracts Aquarius and Scorpio. So as you can see, we have all these similarities that I think is where the attraction is. So why doesn't it last? Well, like I said before, the things that are different, it's the differences. That's a big problem for a lot of us. And I know for me, I must speak solely for myself. When I was seeing a Scorpio one time, I've seen a few Scorpios, and one of them, I just felt like she lacked logic. Like everything with her was emotion. Okay. And as an Aquarius, I can only do so much water. I can only do so much emotion before it's annoying to me. And everything for her was emotion. Everything was based on how she felt. So everything, it wasn't uniform. One day she felt like we were a couple. The next day she felt like we weren't. Okay? The next day she felt like she was in love. The next day she felt like her ex and her was destined to be back together. She constantly felt a different type of way. Meanwhile, I was just feeling one way. I thought we was having a good time. Where's the vodka, But she had all this crap going on. So I got tired of it and stopped talking to her. I ghosted her. Shouldn't have ghosted her, but I did. I blocked her on everything and ghosted her because it was annoying to me. It was like every time I spoke to her, she was in a different mood swing, and it dictated where we were or where we weren't, what we were doing or what we weren't doing. And all I wanted to do was have a good time. I don't want to do all this heavy stuff. I don't want to do any of that. I didn't ask you for any of that, So we would go back and forth with that. So that was a problem. Another time I was dating a Scorpio, he tried to play me, y'all. He tried to play me. This is when I was still dating men. And he tried to move in my home, okay? I'm going to tell y'all this story real quick, okay? This is one of my other issues with Scorpios is that some of them, not all Scorpios, hashtag not all Scorpios, but some of them try to be slick, okay? So this gentleman was dating me for a matter of a couple of months. And over the couple of months that he was dating me, he was doing everything he could to impress me. Giving me money, buying me things, everything he could, taking me places, introducing me to all kinds of people. He wanted me to think he was Big Willie. He was the man, okay? And he was spending money hand over fist. And I'm just like, wow, this dude's a baller, shot caller. Okay? So I'm like, okay, this is cool. But a friend of mine, an old head, she was like, Doug, he don't make that much money. I don't know where he's getting this money from, but something ain't right. Okay? Old heads always know. But I was young and you know, I was like 23 years old. I knew everything, you know, whatever, girl, you know. So I didn't listen. And she was right. Because one night on a Friday, now I'm going to tell y'all, the week before that, this is where he messed up. The week before that, he did not come to my house. Now, mind you, he came to my house every single day. This one day, he did not come to my house. So I was like, okay. His boss called me when he should have gotten off work. His boss told me he was in the hospital. Now, mind you, they live in a small town. At the time, there was only one hospital. No clinic, okay? No urgent care, one hospital. That's it. I called the hospital. The hospital could not give me any information, but they could tell me that that patient was not there. Okay? So I was like, okay, I got it. You're going to see another woman, clearly, you know? So the next day, he comes back pretending that he was in the hospital and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm done. Okay? I am done. Once you have done some nut shit like that, we're through. Clearly you want to see somebody else, so you need to go see them. I don't want to see you no more anyway. So I stopped answering his phone calls. I just straight went cold turkey. A week after that, on a Friday, my daughter's father came and picked her up. I was home by myself. All of a sudden, somebody is banging on my door. Now, I'm Aquarius. You don't come to my home unannounced. Okay? That's the easiest way not to get let in, all right? So I come to the window, and I'm peeking out the blinds, trying to see who's out there without them seeing me, and I see his car, okay? His car has his mattress on top of it. His stuff is stuffed in the trunk. The trunk is tied down. The back seat and the passenger seat are full of his belongings. And they're stuffed in there. They're coming out the window and shit. And I'm sitting there like, he trying to move in my house. That's the energy that dawned on me. And I was just like, oh no, So then it dawned on me what she said. He didn't have that kind of money. She was right. He was spending his bill money on me to impress me because his intention was to move in my house. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about Scorpios. Look at how he made up this diabolical plan from the day that he met me and was playing it out for 3 freaking months. And then I stopped talking to him. So he's like, oh shit, I got to execute my plan. Okay? So what did I do? Well, I'm Aquarius. So I looked out the window, saw who it was, packed my bags, okay, got all the stuff that I needed, and went out the back door. Walked down the street, down the driveway, and got on the bus, because at the time I was not driving, got on the bus and drove to my best friend's house in Germantown. And stayed there for the weekend. Came back on Sunday night to get my daughter because she came back every Sunday. And of course he was gone. For months, this man called me. And this is when caller ID had first came out. So I had the little box, right? So one day after like 3 months, my caller ID malfunctioned. And I answered the phone and it was him. And I'm like, oh snap. So he went off on me. Where was you at? I needed you. Blah, 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 blah. And the third. And I was like, well, I was chilling. What's wrong with you? Like, what do you want? You know? And he was like, well, I got evicted. You got evicted? And he finally admitted to me that he got evicted because he was paying my bills, giving me money, buying me stuff to impress me because he wanted to move into my home. Okay? And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, this is one time, another time. I have this saying that people often work against their best interest, okay? So my thing is that if that was your plan all the time, why why would you go mess around with another woman all night and get kicked to the curb after you spent 3 months meticulously executing this plan? I guess maybe he wanted to spend one last night with this person. I don't know what it was about, but whatever the case was, that's what derailed his whole plan. So the bottom line is that that's why things often fizzle out between Aquarius and Scorpio on Scorpio's side. On Aquarius' side, when it's our fault, it's usually because we're not being sensitive enough. Scorpios always got on me about that. Not being considerate enough, not being sensitive enough, not being in my heart center enough. Some of them called me straight up cruel, straight up callous, straight up cold. You know, especially if they cried or were overly emotional. And I was just like, like that kind of thing, because back then I didn't really have a good emotional intelligence. So if a person that I really didn't like that much started crying, I didn't know what to do. I'm just standing there. Or if a person I did like started crying, I wouldn't know what to do. It didn't matter. So a lot of times with Scorpio, that's the argument. They also accuse us of being controlling. A lot of Scorpios told me I was controlling. And I'm like, how you gonna call me controlling? You controlling ass Scorpio? You know, maybe we're just a little bit more controlling, you know. I think that Aquarius and Scorpio have a lot of similarities, you know. And some of the times opposites cause problems. And some of the times too many similarities cause problems. So that's what I think about Aquarius and Scorpio. All right, guys. Now, let's take a look at our positive comments. The first positive comment comes from Flawless Pearl. Hey, Flawless Pearl. Flawless Pearl said, yep, I know my son is sick of hearing songs on repeat. I did a thing the other day, and it said that Aquarius often plays songs on repeat. And this is true. We often play the same songs. I'm playing the same songs that I was playing and as a girl. I'm serious. When I was a young girl, my mother gave me a radio. That was the first thing I got. I got a radio. Later on, I got a radio that played cassette tapes. The same music that I was playing on both of those items, I still play now. Love Makes Things Happen, one of my favorite songs. I was just playing it today, you know. All those 80s songs, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Luther Vandross, the Piano in the Dark by Brenda Russell. I mean, all of those 80s songs that I was playing back then, I was guarantee you I played them over the weekend, okay? Yes, Aquarius love old songs. We love the same songs, and we will put a song on repeat. I had the tape, Love Makes Things Happen. I played that tape so much it popped. I can't tell you how many tapes I played so much that they eventually popped. So those of you who grew up with CDs, you missed the whole cassette tape thing. That was a whole nother, you know, that was a whole nother thing. That was a whole nother trip. All right, our next positive comment came from Snapchat Life. Hey, Snapchat. Snapchat said, I be catching my ex and her lies, but she will fuss and say shit for me to believe her. But her story don't add up. Shaking my head, but you can't say nothing to her. Well, that's why it's good that she's your ex. Because if you're catching her in lies, that's a problem. And then she lying on top of the lie, that's good that that's your ex. Anybody who's not honest with you doesn't respect you. You should not be with the person who is dishonest. Now, I know that people always tell me, oh, what about this or what about that? So people will say to me, what about little white lies? You know, look, honesty is the best policy. Whenever you can be honest, be honest. And when you can't be honest, just don't say nothing. That's what I do. That's my trick. Just don't say nothing. If you can't be honest, just tell the person, I don't want to talk about this. I cannot go here with you. Don't feed them a bunch of soup like we used to say back in the day. Don't feed them the gerby gerb. Just tell them, I can't talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. Say anything you got to say. That's the truth to get out of that conversation. That's it. I do it all the time. It's no point in lying. You ain't gotta do that. So obviously, if her stories don't add up, she might even be what we call a habitual liar. And people like that lie for no reason. They just lie because they feel like it. So it's good that she's an ex and not your current. Leave her alone and stay away from them liars. I know that for a fact. All right, guys. You come back soon because I got more to say. See you later.